Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of the Always Wolves Squadcast. I'm joined by my co-host Manny Singh, Amy Hadley, and also appearing friend of the podcast today, we've got Kevin Rogers, the CEO of Paycare, and also, is it trustee of the foundation?
It is indeed, yes.
Fantastic to have you back on. And we're doing today, are we excited? It's a European special, and I'm excited. And
expect a European jingle or something, some background music.
And, do you remember that show, Going for Gold? Going for Gold. Remember that game show? Do you remember it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Is it? Yeah,
it was all these European things. It was all up to do with Europe. Kev's laughing. He remembers it.
I have no idea what you're talking about, mate.
Mate, nobody knows what Dave's talking about.
I don't have a clue either. I'm just smiling.
You'll have to look it up on YouTube. First off, before we get on, obviously we need to look just quickly back at the Chelsea game. It didn't work out for us, and obviously with Arsenal winning the FA Cup, you know, it's kind of like everything's gone against us in terms of the results and last-minute decisions, and we've ended up missing out by goal difference on 6, and then Arsenal have gone and won the FA Cup again, and obviously at this point, we're not in Europe next season. I mean, how are you feeling about the season as a whole, generally?
I mean, fantastic season. Like, it was just so frustrating. Like, so disappointed. I think it was just disappointment at the end because you felt like it was in our hands, and Spurs didn't even win. And then there's just that free kick decision. It was just they just didn't recover from that. But all in all, it's been an absolutely fantastic season. I think we deserve to be in Europe, and I don't think anyone would have any qualms about that. I think that Spurs have been ridiculously lucky, especially when you look at how many VAR benefits they have had. I think they've had the most in favour.
VAR really winds you up. I saw you posting the VAR tables and everything.
VAR really does wind me up. I mean, I don't speak too much on social media about decisions and stuff when it comes to football, but VAR is definitely one that has angered me through the season, and seeing those tables, I think, just frustrated. But we've talked about VAR enough for last time, so I don't want to bring that into this conversation. But overall, fantastic season, but I just feel a little bit disappointed with how it ended.
Fair play. Kev?
Amazing season, absolutely incredible. You know, we're 3 years into the plan, aren't we? We're way ahead of where I think any of us realistically expected us to be. I know we've got dreams that we would really hit the ground running when we got to this position, but it's just been astonishing. I came away from the Chelsea game pretty much the same feeling as I had at the Watford game. I was gutted, and we never really turned up for that game. But was I bothered? No, not really. Like, was I bothered when we lost against Watford? Yes, sort of, for the time being, but I knew we would be back. It's like, this is just the start.
That's the way. That's it, isn't it? Bouncing back.
The start. We're going to be here again. We've got a chance now to get into the Champions League. It's going to be really, really tough, and we'll talk about that later. But it's another opportunity that we've got. But this is just the start. So an incredible season that has given us amazing highs that most Wolves
and great memories, and we're going to come on to some of those memories in a bit as well, aren't we? We're going to talk about our favourite European trips this year as well.
The VAR, it's with us to stay. The issue is appalling officials.
You happy overall, Kev?
Happy. Let's sort the referees out and the officials, and then we might.
We'll send you round, Kev.
No, don't worry.
And Manny, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, it's funny, Kev, you just mentioned that semi-final against Watford. When Amy was talking, I just had that game, a game where we controlled it, 2-0 up, great, and then the ending so disappointing. So that's kind of what the season's been. We've got to a height where we thought we touched Champions League, and then for a number of reasons, and a lot of it down to our lack of experience and game management, again, where we are in our development as a team. Overall, Again, a fantastic achievement. When you looked at the FA Cup, we would have liked to go to the final, but it's still an achievement to get to the semi-final. We'd never been there for how many years, so overall it was still an achievement. The game itself, the Chelsea game, the game actually, believe it or not, was a nothing game, and that decision does change a lot of things. People do say, well, yeah, Wolves didn't really turn up in the second half, and they didn't really play very well, but the decision does have a big bearing. So the only thing I've got, my little thing on VAR is VAR doesn't come into it if you're a side that scores the second goal and then goes on to score the third goal. We don't do that. We always live on a knife edge. So when a VAR call comes, it's usually because we're 0-0 or just 1-0 up. Means it's going to be crucial. If you're 2-0 up or 3-0 up against Burnley, then there's not. So one thing that going forward, our defence, I think, is rock solid, and we need to find a way of scoring more goals from midfield, and that will combat a lot of because we're not magically, these officials ain't going to get great overnight. I don't think they are. Some of they ain't, they're rubbish. Some of them are awful.
They have become like legends in their own minds.
Definitely.
Mike Dean especially.
Oh, but they're all.
They all
We could do an episode on Mike Dean's decisions and go through them, couldn't we? Really?
Yeah.
There is, as I think a lot of people said, there is a bias towards making sure that the hierarchy of the top six all get into Europe.
Well, they have now. The original top six are all in Europe, aren't they now?
It's amazing, isn't it? Last kick of the season, and it all works out. So the top
decision
six
in the FA final against Chelsea in favour of Arsenal as well. That's sending off. The free kick that wasn't given towards the end, the keeper running out the area and handling, and the ref plays it on. But I don't know. Anyway, it's happened in it. So,
but overall, great season, I think, and lots and lots. Like Kev says, when we failed in the past, it was because we didn't see the future under different regimes. Under this one, we're excited to see what will happen next and how far we can go.
Probably will. I'm pretty much of the same opinion as you guys. Obviously, I was a bit down about, I think it's more to the fact that, again, like the semi-final, because we were so close to achieving that goal of Champions League and then Europa League and then the FA Cup was so close, and then you just get taken away. That's so typical Wolves in so many ways. At some point, we're not going to be the bridesmaid. We're going to be the bride. And maybe it'll be the Europa League this year. And I've got a big reason for believing that we're going to go all the way. But we'll come on to our predictions. So I think before we get on to looking at the Olympiacos game and what we're thinking about that, because that's going to be a tough match, make no mistake. Why don't we go with our favourite away days from this year's Europa League so far?
I've been to two.
There'll be lots of wine involved now.
Braga and Espanyol, both were amazing memories. Braga because it was the first, and it's the whole experience of rocking up with your mates to Birmingham Airport, then getting on a plane to Frankfurt, and just experiencing all these things, and then just being in a continual monsoon for 3 days in Braga. The experience of getting to the ground, just incredible. Then you go to Espanyol, really, really fortunate with the weather that we had in Barcelona. And, look at the situation now. How fortunate were we to actually get there at that time?
Just before it all hit, wasn't it?
Literally a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then to be walking down La Ramblas, and all you're seeing is Wolves supporters in Wolves shirts. This is bloody Barcelona, for God's sake, and Wolves shirts. They're like in the middle of Barcelona.
Just wait till when we're in the Champions League and we're walking down Las Ramblas to play Barcelona itself at the Nou Camp and beating them. That would be
incredible. The atmosphere, I'll go back to the Braga game, the atmosphere in that first half of the Braga game was just incredible. I'm not bothered in the slightest that we're not having to go through the qualifiers again this year. We do not need that pressure of games on us. We're a calendar year into our Europa League.
And still going.
Ridiculous.
We do not need that. As I say, amazing times. amazing time.
Fantastic, Kev. And Amy, let's go with you next. I think you went to Barcelona. What was your experience like at that?
It was just incredible. So we flew out on the Thursday. We got the 6 a.m. flight, I think, from Birmingham on the Thursday, and that was just I think there was about 5 women on the plane because it was just all blokes drinking in Wolves shirts. So you just kind of walked on the plane and you thought, right, put the flights to ourselves, and then we only did one night, and then came back on the Friday. And it basically everyone had got kind of the same flight, so everyone was a way out on the way back together, and just everyone being in Wolves shirt on the plane, and it was just like a pinch me moment, really. Like, I could not believe it was happening. So my dad supported Wolves. I mean, he's 64, so he's supported Wolves since like he was about 10, and he'd never been in a way on a European day, like back in the day or whatever. So I said, right, Dad, we've got to go. So we got to Barcelona. I said, right, let's do that. Let's go to there. And yeah, the whole thing. And then just going, we went to the cathedral and had like a walk around Barcelona. And then, like you said, walking down Les Ramblas. And I kind of wanted, because I've travelled quite a lot. And when you go somewhere, I kind of expect the culture and expect to, hear Spanish everywhere I went. All I could hear was these black country accents. I was like, am I in Queen Square or Les Ramblas? And then that square that everyone was like hosted in, walked in, and I was like, am I in Wolverhampton? Am I in Barcelona? Where am I? But that just kind of added to it, the whole experience even more. And it was like that pack thing that everyone talks about. It really, really felt like just a pack and kind of a takeover, and all these people had come from different parts of the West Midlands and just landed in Barcelona. And then, we were there at the game. I mean, the game wasn't great, but anyway.
I think the Espanyol fans had given up, hadn't they? They didn't really turn up, did they? They were 4-0 down, kind of didn't really turn up. It's a shame.
But that was the shame about it, because there were so many. I mean, we were fortunate to get tickets, but there were so many fans that were watching it in the centre of Barcelona, and you got to the stadium and the stadium was absolutely empty.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, I know it was the rules and regulations, but so it would have just been better to have a few more thousand Wolves fans in. You wouldn't have even noticed. It wouldn't have even been full for 4,000.
They had plenty in the home ends there, didn't they?
yeah. So but overall, it was just, and then the next day we did like the sites. I went to the new camp. We actually saw you, Manny, there, but obviously didn't know you then.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, new camp the next day, and then like the park well and stuff. So yeah, it was a really good trip, and just something that I never thought I'd experience before. No. So
hopefully many more to come in the future as well when all this has passed over.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but like you say, Kev, like to think that was about 3 weeks before we went into lockdown, it's just that makes me even more grateful for it, to be honest. But yeah, it was it's definitely my highlight of the year. One thing that I can actually say was a positive and something good in 2020. I'll remember that for probably more for that reason than anything, to be fair.
Fantastic. What about you, Manny? You've been on a few trips, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it started last year, about this time, actually. We just got through against Crusaders. And before that second leg, I just thought to myself, we'd drawn Punic. And I looked and I thought, bloody hell, this is miles away, this place, Yerevan. You'd only ever heard of it. And I just went online. All my family were in India, nobody at home alone. I'd come back from India after some stuff we'd done there. And I just booked, before we played the second leg, I just booked the ticket. I think I got it for about 500 quid, the flight, and the flights went up to about £1,000 after. So I booked, totally on my own. And remember, I never used to go away with Wolves up until a few years ago. So going away in Europe, I just had it in my head, Punic are going to knock us out. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on a European away day. So I turned up at the airport on my own. Still haven't told my family in India. Turned up at the airport, parked the car, and I've sat there in my Wolves gear. I was wearing the black top. I was sort of in disguise, that is, for me. And these Wolves fans, a couple of them came up to me and just said, looks like it's just us and you then. There were just 3 of us, and then we met another 3. And we got there, and it was just sensational because it is proper. It's like Barcelona and Istanbul, they're very cosmopolitan. modern countries, when you actually got out of the airport at Punic and you saw the taxis and they're like old style larders and, you know, really clapped out taxis and people have just got the windows open, there's no AC or anything, like, you know. And I thought, where the hell are we? Are we going to be safe? But it was brilliant because there was only, 48 of us?
And we got 48, wasn't it?
We got to know everybody personally. There was no way you weren't. Even when we walked into the stadium, we had this big corner and we had, like, you know, 500 seats each. We could sit where we wanted to. And
it could be all right for social distancing now.
It was probably a sign of the, you know, and so it was just... you know, we won the game 4-1, played really well. Their fans, they were, you know, I think you probably found this at Istanbul as well. Outside the ground, lovely, lovely people. When they go inside the ground, honestly, they scream, they shout, and then after the game, we walked out, and we could see lots of Punic fans waiting for us, all shouting, chanting, waving their fists. So the police surrounded us. We had, I reckon we had about 400 police officers to us 48 fans surrounding us in a circle to protect us from those fans until they'd gone. And when they'd gone, they sort of ferried us all into taxis and we went away. So that was a little bit, because people always say going away in Europe, it could be a bit hairy, or you could, you know, fans and people start drinking and you get into trouble or whatever. So that side of Europe is a little bit daunting as well, because you don't want to run, like Kev says, you're walking out Les Ramblers, but you don't want to go to the wrong street and meet up with a, you know, what do you do in a foreign country? And I think in Braga there was a few, you know, minor little scuffles the night before, and Istanbul, Dave, you can talk about Istanbul, you might as well talk about your experiences, because that, you know, people were put off Istanbul, Besiktas, Galatasaray, really ferocious. The loveliest country, and the people before and after, shaking hands, meeting you, unbelievable experience. That was probably, out of all the trips, you know, Espanyol, Istanbul and Yerevan. Yerevan was special, but Istanbul was the country, because I went with my wife and my kids. So having the family for the first time in Europe, watching Wolves, last minute winner, it was just, you know.
Mad, wasn't it? Well, yeah, I mean, I've been on 4. I've been to Barcelona, Braga, Turin and Istanbul. And as you put it, everyone was scared about going to Istanbul, saying that's going to be the real down there, fanatics and stuff like that. And I went for 4 days. And I've got to tell you, the 2 places that I've been in the world that, you know, I absolutely love and would want to go back. New York, fantastic. And Istanbul, absolutely amazing. I just, every bit of it, I absolutely loved. The fans were doing all of this with their Eagles, meeting up with them before the game. The weather was great. It's that one street in Istanbul, the high street, goes on for like for 2 miles. The takeaway shops have got chandeliers in them and all sorts. It was going down to the bazaars, and, you know.
It's funny, Dave, we've all talked about European football, and none of us have really talked about the football. And it just shows you what a real experience it is for fans just to go there together and, you know, be there supporting your side. But what you bring back is much more than just the result. You can't really remember too much of the games.
I mean, all I remember about the Espanyol game away was that song, which game is about, and that goal that Neto.
And we've adopted
it. That's the only thing I remember.
Remember when they scored, we were all doing it as well, weren't we? Yeah. It was fantastic. In terms of like the actual match itself, I'm probably going to go with that, because it was the first game. I know there was nearly that crush, probably the Torino. That was the first one. It was sort of like getting through, and the atmosphere was probably the best atmosphere in that stadium when we were singing "Si Senor" and everything. But
the famous Catroni song.
Oh yeah, the people.
I loved that chant.
The disappointment one, probably to me, was, and everyone thought it was going to be the most friendliest one because it was Portugal, was Porto and Braga, because it rained a lot, and then the police were so heavy-handed, and it chucked it down with rain. And half the Braga fans didn't turn out either on the other end for why. I don't know whether because they're not used to the rain or anything, but like that was the one that I was expecting to be the friendliest, and it turned out to be Istanbul, which was the one that everyone was worrying about. So
you nicked all their great countrymen. That's why.
Oh, it was fantastic. So it was
Did
absolutely.
you hear some bad stories about the Braga game? Like some of the lads that I know that went, and they said it put some of them off going to Barcelona because they were like, they just didn't want the repeat of what happened with the police and everything. It was just...
They were really heavy-handed, the police in I mean, the police in Turin getting into the stadium, they did a good job. They brought us all in on the buses, and then they got everyone off the bus. And you've got like 3,000 Wolves fans trying to get in between two gates, and there was a danger of a crush and that was scary. But the Wolves fans at the front were saying back off to the Wolves fans at the back, and they did back off the crush, and everyone got in. But Braga,
people got in late, didn't they, to that game?
Yeah, they did.
Ridiculous.
Someone got on the first bus, and they sat there for 2 hours.
Yeah. The Braga game was so surprising because we'd spent the 2 days in Braga, and the people in Braga were just incredible. And there'd obviously been the trouble the night before in Porto, which we never came across anything like that. Yeah. So we just rocked up to the game, and then were confronted by it's like military police.
Yeah, it was the police, wasn't it?
It was just astonishing, and just mindless stupidity. Like walking to the ground, you got your tarmac where you walk to the ground, but they forced you onto a muddy grass patch to walk through.
And they were chucking the flags away as well, weren't they? People's flags. They were getting them and throwing them into the bin and everything. They treated the Wolves fans, the police, like we were nothing, basically.
I think, because there was trouble in Porto the night before, it just gave them excuse, didn't it? They just, they see the reports and it's a few fans, get into trouble, and then they just decide to make a decision, right, we're going to
and then
let
it's
them know
a catalyst then, because then some Wolves fans that angers,
well, that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It just catalyst, doesn't it? It's not.
Police fans hitting a woman or whatever, or someone just banging them over the thing, then people are going to react to that. And so,
that's one experience of Europe when you go into different countries. People do. They have different ways that they do things, which are sometimes alien to us, because I've been to many countries where, if you even breathe out a line, you're going to get a whack, because that's just the way they police. So, in a football match, it's English football hooligans, that's what image some people have. They build that image up.
I tell you what, the way the Istanbul police dealt with it and got us in phases, it was so.
They were brilliant.
Absolutely. Okay, you got checked a load of times when you on the way in, but they managed the flow of the supporters. It was very relaxed. And
Dave, there was a police officer on the way to the stadium in Istanbul actually selling them the firecrackers.
Yeah, they were selling them.
Yeah, they didn't move from their position. They all smiled as we walked down, all with our fireworks and everything, all singing and chanting. And they just stood smiling back at us. It was unreal. It was like, because we expected Istanbul. These guys are going to, not take any prisoners. But they
loved having us there, to be honest. And I've got to say, the Besiktas fans were the ones that we met and I hung around with, had pictures and taken with. They were brilliant. But when you got in the stadium, like you said, you've got the ultras and stuff there with the flags. They were proper going for it. But
it was noisy enough on the telly. I remember watching it, and it was like crazy. They were noisy enough when they came to Molineux as well.
Yeah.
So
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's part of the experience, witnessing that, and you had that again in Turin, the Torino ultras as well, when they've got like a conductor, not even watching the game, turning away, conducting the fans. And you saw them, like you said, when they came to Molineux, they did the same thing, didn't they? They're so coordinated. But yeah,
disappointments of obviously this week. If we'd have had the Olympiacos fans here, that would have just been an amazing sight.
Yeah, it would.
Greek fans are just.
It's just a shame, isn't it, that we've got no fans. Well, brilliant. That's really good. And don't forget, if you're listening to this or you're watching it on YouTube, leave us your favourite games that you've watched so far this season as well. We're really interested to hear. Leave us obviously a comment on iTunes or in the comment section below on YouTube.
Just one other thing, Dave. One of the funniest things that happened on our trips, as I said earlier, we tended to fly by Lufthansa. So on the way back from the Espanyol game, we're flying back through Frankfurt, and Frankfurt Airport is like huge,
Massive, isn't it?
Massive amount of Wolves fans there. So we're all on this flight back, this Lufthansa flight back from Frankfurt to Birmingham, and you've got this German Lufthansa air steward. 95% of all the flight is Wolves fans in Wolves shirts. And he turned around and he says, "This is the biggest stag party I've ever seen in my life." He thought we were all on a stag party. So then we had to explain to him, no, we've actually been to a football match.
I gave a badge to one of the, as I was leaving, I think it was Turin. They check you through and he's going, "Oh, I like your Wolves stuff and anything I can have." I gave him a badge. And he was
that supposed to be Italian? I don't know.
I don't know, but he was made up about it and stuff. I think he was a Juventus fan, because all the Juventus fans were going like this all the way through, because they're obviously arch rivals with Torino. That's a fantastic experience, mate. Good laugh that was. It's one of them things, and you just like story that you can tell down the pub or with your mates or whatever. I remember this time. Fantastic, that is.
When we got to Yerevan, I checked into my hotel and I thought, I'll walk to the square. There's a square there with a big fountain. That seems like a congregating point for us 48 fans, and there was nobody there. Absolutely nobody. I'm there in my gold turban, the shirt, my shades. I got my Ray-Bans on, and I'm looking around. There's not a single fan to be seen anywhere. And then these two old Yerevanian, I don't know if that's what you call them, ladies come up to me and said, "Do you mind picture?" And they wanted a picture taken with me. I think they thought I was like some sort of, I don't know, like the council had put some sort of mascot in the town square for the day, promoting something. So they had their picture taken with me, but they had no idea I was a Wolves fan or Wolverhampton were playing, or and then I met an old guy who had a Wolves shirt on, and he had his backpack and he was walking around, and I ran to him to like, "You're sticking with me. We're sticking together." He goes, and introduced ourselves, and we sort of then met up with more fans. But it was brilliant. It was a brilliant story.
Somewhere in Yerevan, Manny, on a wall somewhere in some lady's house, there's a picture of you and them.
Yeah. They still don't know what I was selling that day.
At the Bratislava home game, halfway up Snow Hill, and Bratislava was February. I can't remember. It was really cold, and I was persuaded to give this Bratislava fan my latest Wolves top in exchange for this grotty, bloody grimy Bratislava scarf that I've still got in the cupboard upstairs.
But it's an experience, isn't it? It's one of them moments. It's like
it's come all the way from Bratislava. I said, "Have you heard his accent? It's more bloody Tipton than Bratislava."
Fantastic. So then, fantastic memories, and hopefully many more in the future. But we've got a business to take care of, haven't we? Thursday, the first leg. Can you believe it? Was that first game that we had the experience of being behind closed doors for completely different reasons at the time, was in March. We're now in August and we're playing the second leg. It is at Molineux. It's 1-1. Just recapping on the first game, they scored first after they were down to 10 men because they had a player sent off after 28 minutes. Pedro Neto, I think, got the equaliser, and we got that away goal, didn't we? Olympiacos have run away with the Greek league, 18 points clear. They've only lost one game this season. That was after they've won the league. They knocked Arsenal out against all the odds. Was it a last-minute goal knocking Arsenal out?
Yeah,
and
that's right.
They reckon a lot of the Olympiacos think it's one of the best teams that they've ever had. It's not going to be easy. I think their keeper's out, who's kept more clean sheets, 28, than any other keeper this season. 28 clean sheets. What are you thinking?
Well, it's going to be tough. I honestly, I think it could really go either way. I really, in my head, obviously, Wolves fan head on, really hope Wolves, can come through with it. But after the Chelsea game, I mean, if they turn up like they did against the Chelsea game, they've got no hope. But I think probably which is giving me a bit more of anxiety, is that the right word to use, is the Chelsea game didn't give me much hope for them going into this game, but then you hope that might fire them up to, just give an absolute performance. But it's kind of a bit, it's one game, isn't it? And if they win it, then we're through to the next round. And it really feels like it is a really isolated, it's a weird setup, it being the second leg, and the first leg was played, 5 months ago. So there's not the continuity that you usually have, that you could kind of bounce up on like we have with the other previous legs. So it does really feel like a standalone game. I think it would have really, really benefited Wolves to have the fans there, because I think it could have potential to be quite a dirty game with Olympiacos. But it's exciting because I just can't call it in my head. I really can't call it. So
you're gonna have to call it.
I know this is the problem with doing these podcasts, because I always have to predict, and I don't like predicting the match.
Come on, Amy, come on. I'm
going to go 0-0, but Wolves will go through with the away goal. Is that a cop-out?
Can you imagine if it's 0-0? And we've got Mike Dean comes on as substitute ref.
Don't. Honestly, I think
he can't ref this one because he's English, so we're okay.
I think they'll really play on the counter. I think they'll be quite defensive, but then they'll really play on the counter with this game. I think how it's going to go. But it'll be interesting to see whether he starts Podence. I don't know whether
I think he probably will.
I think it's a shoe-in, that is, Podence, for me.
I think he's our inside man as well. Go on, Manny. What's your thoughts on this?
You know what? I think I spoke to you earlier about this. I'm expecting a dour, dull, drab game, and then we'll score really late and seal the victory. That's what I'm hoping. And 1-1 is so hard, because for both sides, for Nuno, the team does like to sit back and let a team come on them and then use their pace. And ideally, then that's what you would expect, because they need to score. 0-0 puts them out. Because they need to score, Wolves may be sitting in their shape and then hitting them on the break. But it's when Olympiacos decide to go, because I think for a long period, Olympiacos won't open up, because it's just one goal. They won't just open up straight away like they're 3-0 down. So it could be a chess game for long periods, and not the greatest viewing. Defences are tight on both sides.
80 game you're predicting, Manny?
Yeah, really. I don't think it's one that we'll write about, but it's about the result. When you get to this type of stage, there's a last 8 waiting in this mini tournament, a new thing, which are all one-off matches, and we can come on to them later. But I'm expecting like a tight game, not the best, probably similar to the way we've been playing. I can't see us suddenly raising our game that much higher than some of our performances, but I think it still could be enough. I'm going for 1-0 late goal.
Fantastic. And you, Kev?
I think Nuno could surprise us.
I love Kev's predictions.
I think everyone will expect a tight game. I think Nuno will go attacking to start with. He's done that.
He's going to start with, Kev?
I think he'll start with Traore and Podence.
See, I think
if you look at reports of the Tottenham Olympiacos game, it was Podence that absolutely tore another one for Spurs. And when we signed Podence, I've got a friend who's a huge Aris Saloniki supporter. And he said Podence is like the standout player in Greek football by a million miles. So that, I think, kind of puts into context the standard that Olympiacos will be. They'll be tough, they'll be tight, they'll be well organised. But our strength is going to be in our attack. Can they handle Traore? Can they handle Podence? I think that's got to be our real opportunity is to go for them. And I think Nuno will surprise us. I think we'll win 2-0.
2-0, okay.
But I love Kev.
I'm kind of with you, Kev. I think he'll start Podence for the exact reason. Although you'd think Olympiacos will know all about Podence. And I also think he'll start Traore. I think he's going to go for it from the top. I think he's going to go for it. I think you're right. I think Olympiacos are going to think. I think, but if Wolves can get the goals and go for it, and like you said, make the most of it. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it, and I've just gone 3-0. Do you know what? I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to turn.
What have they been drinking, Amy?
3-0. I think it will be Podence and Traore. I think Traore will tear them to shreds. Jimenez will come back to form, and we've got Jota and Pedro Neto, and the defence will be fit. I just got a feeling 3-0. That's my
I've heard there's a shortage of Vaseline in Wolverhampton now.
And don't forget, don't forget their keeper.
I was wondering what you was going to say then, Kev.
I was like,
Don't forget their keeper's out as well, and he's the keeper that's kept 28 clean sheets. Yeah, I'm going to be ultra positive and go 3-0.
We're going to have a lot of Greek fans with us on Thursday. Olympiacos are the Man U of Greece. Everybody, apart from Olympiacos fans, absolutely hates them.
Well, guess what? You want to watch my match preview when I do it for Olympiacos, because I've got one of my international fan contributors. He lives in Athens and he's mates with a load of Greek football fans. So he's been sending me videos in for the preview from Panathinaikos fans, from AEK Athens fans, Olympiacos fans. So I'm going to have to put them all in on the preview, but it's going to be really brilliant. But yes, but they are obviously the AEK Athens and the Panathinaikos fans are all like, "Come on, Wolves!" because of the Olympiacos fans are very, very confident. They think they're going to beat us. But you can understand.
They probably should be. I mean, they've dominated their league and they are a good side. So why wouldn't they be confident? But we've just got to do our thing, haven't we? We've got to do our thing and we've got to approach it right and hopefully, it'd be great to see an early goal, because it's one thing we need to improve and we don't do is score early goals. And when we have, we've always gone on to win comfortably.
And don't forget as well.
I am glad though it's at Molineux, not in Athens.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's no fans, whatever. I am glad we have benefited from having the second leg now.
I think we can't underestimate the importance of that Neto goal. How huge that goal was away.
Yeah.
There.
Massive. A little bit of break as well. That they've had a bit of downtime as well. A bit of recharging of the batteries. This squad's got the mentality. You've got the likes of Martinho in there. He's a winner all the way through. They know what they need to do. If we want Europe next year, we've got to win the tournament. And look what happened with Arsenal. They got through, beat Man City, and then beat Chelsea. That same thing could happen for Wolves. You've got to believe it.
Somebody said Wolves. I just read Wolves are probably suited to like this one-off European match. Because of the big players they've got, Patricio and Martinho, people who've played in the Champions League and in Europe before. It's for Wolves it's new, but for our squad it's not new. So apparently, this type of competition suits them, the style of play, and sometimes you do get that extra minute on the ball, and where in the Premier League you've seen high pressing and people at your ankles all the time. So maybe our midfield too can boss the game on Thursday.
Martinho will not be happy how the season's ended.
No, he won't. He gets frustrated losing at table tennis, Martinho. Yeah. Anyway, just want to say a big thank you as well to the Pitch Football app that's powering the podcast today. Crack on and get onto that and leave your score predictions and that, and you can look at your team selections as well. So big thank you to them. Manny, I just want to come back to you on this, because we've had a question which you hit on the nail on the head there. And it says, and it's from Alex Harris, on Instagram. Okay. Will the one-off games be better for Wolves than the two-legged ties if we get through on Thursday? And I think you just touched on that, which I'm picking that question. What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, I just think, the Patricio, Martinho, Neves, Bowley, they've all been in European football before. They've all sort of had skirmishes, and I think they just get that extra second because of their style of play to pick the pass, to have a think, to, do their magic in the Premier League. It's very hair and scarum. You have a lot of people biting your ankles and big, burly midfielders trying to knock you off the ball. And maybe this is the thing. Even forget Seville, Roma and Manchester United. We're playing them in Germany in a neutral venue, away from any bias from any, home support or sometimes it can be quite hard to go to away grounds. Imagine going to Seville and Roma would be a bit, quite a battle.
Going to Seville or Roma,
but what I'm saying is it's a different ball, and that one-off experience, that 90-minute match, we've proved it in the past against the biggest and best in this country, and so far, whoever we've faced in Europe, we've dispatched. And
played better away as well.
Yeah. So it's not. People are looking at it. Oh, that's it. European football's over. It's gone. We're not going to get it. Well, there's a huge opportunity, and we have to, really think of it as that, not just it is a free hit, but it's a big opportunity as well to actually. Silverware is what really turns people's heads, not semi-finals, not quarter-finals, not, progression. That's for us, seventh and doing well, but it's the, putting something on the mantelpiece, even though we're ahead of schedule and nobody expected it. How wonderful that would be.
Another question here, which throw in at this point, actually. It's from Harry B869 or something on Instagram. Who do you think is getting through, Roma or Sevilla?
Well, Roma beat Juve 3-1, didn't they, the other day?
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Good side.
I think Roma's finished 4th in the Italian league and Sevilla something like 5th or 3rd or something in the Spanish league. Is that right? Something like that.
Roma known as the Little Wolves.
They've got the wolf. They've got the wolf on there.
Yeah, the little
wolf.
wolf.
Badge,
yeah. Sevilla have won this tournament more than anyone else as well, haven't they?
I think Seville you could compare to what I've just said about Wolves suiting Wolves, European football. For some reason, Seville come to life in European football, don't they? Over the years, they've countless number of UEFA Cups, Europa Leagues, and it's going to be a tough game, but I can see probably Seville coming through, just their experience of European football. I don't know.
You, Amy, who do you think is going to win that one?
I couldn't tell you because they're both very good size. So toss up. Mate, I'm going to go Roma.
And Kev?
Sevilla with their track record.
I'm going to go Roma just because I like Rome. And I wish we'd have got an away trip to Rome, but Sevilla would have been nice as well. But still, so we're split on that one. So, okay, we're going to come to now the big question. Can and will Wolves go all the way and win the Europa League this year? What is your gut feeling?
My gut won't.
Your gut feeling is no.
No, I don't think. It's a tough ask. We're a calendar year into our season, and I think we've shown signs of fatigue at times. So my gut feeling is we won't. Could we? Absolutely. This is Nuno's team. We can achieve anything, and for a one-off game, we can achieve anything.
So yes or no? We're going to do it?
No.
Okay, how far are we going?
I think we'll go semi-final.
Semi-final. Amz?
I'd love to say yeah, but I just have doubt. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. Maybe I'm being quite pessimistic today.
Oh, really?
But, I think realistic. I would like you, Kev. I'd love to say yeah, we're going to go all the way, but I just can't see it happening. I think after the few performances we've seen where I've been a little bit disappointed, I think the knock-on, like the tournament element, might sway into it in the semis if they do get that far. So I was thinking semis before you said that I think they'll get to. But but I'd love for them to prove me wrong. So if any of you
players are watching, still be a massive achievement.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
But if I'm going to say my dad's already got them lifting the cup, so he's the optimistic one. I'm the pessimistic one. So
semi-final's still a good turn.
That's pretty good.
But to be honest, like to get to this point, I just think it's unbelievable. So I just take anything and just say enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey.
Come on, Manny.
Well, it's going to be a trio of semi-final heartache. It looks like. You know what? Have we got the talent within the team and the squad to win one-off games and go all the way? Yes, of course we have. We know that. We've done it. After 57, 58 games after we've played Olympiacos, after 58 games of the season, can we beat Olympiacos, potentially Seville, Manchester United, and maybe Inter Milan. Maybe we could win 1 or 2 of them. Are we in a position to win all 4 of them? We would probably have to play at the top of our game in every department to do that. Now, would we, at this stage of the season, are we in that type of... I don't think so. I don't think we've quite got enough to win 4 games of that stature. But I'm certainly looking forward to Wolves being in Germany and giving it a go. And maybe they can beat Seville. That's my hope. And if they go through, and a semi-final might just be, that step too far. But again, I think we'll look back at whatever happens with extreme pride. I'll go semi-final, mate.
Semi-final. You heard it here first, guys. We are winning this Europa League, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm believing it. And I've mentioned it before. My good friend Bill, Sean Connery, was sat next to me for 20-odd years, passed away suddenly before Christmas. Very obviously sad time. I went to see him, family rang me up. I went to see him the day he passed. I spent some time with him, showing him some of the games on my vlogs that I'd done on my channel that he hadn't watched. I sat down and talked to him privately, and he basically whispered in my ear, said, "Dave, I've seen 2 things I've got to tell you." The first thing he told me was Diogo Jota hadn't scored for ages, was going to score a hat-trick in the next week. He scored 2 the next match, and he scored 3 the next match. And that actually happened. And he says, "We're going to lift this trophy." That's what he said. We're going to win the Europa League. And from that moment on, I believe, after Jota scored that hat-trick, the next game was like, that's mad. I believe it. So it might not happen, but I've got to have the faith that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I'm going to say we're destined to win. He said he saw it happen, so I'm going with that. And if it does, God bless you, mate. That would be amazing.
Get through the Olympiacos game. We're into tournament football, aren't we? And we've got 2 hugely experienced players in tournament football. Rupert Patricio and João Moutinho, and you could add Nuno to that. He was part of the European Portuguese winning. So they know about tournament football, and it's a massive advantage. It's very different. England have found that out to the cost over the years, haven't they? You have to play tournament football very differently. So that's a huge advantage we have got, or a huge positive. So
I agree. I think as well, like you say, if we get to the semi-final, which we're all saying we're going to get to the semi-final, it's going to be against United. We lost that 1 game.
If United get there,
it's likely Copenhagen. It could be Southampton, couldn't it? If we could get United, they ain't going to want to play us. And we can, in a one-off game, like you said, we've had the better of them on most of the. I know they're on fire at the moment. They've had really good form, but we can beat United. We can. We proved it in the FA Cup quarter-final last year. We've beat them. We've matched them. So we won't be frightened of Man United. That'd be a massive game. Can you imagine?
We can potentially beat.
We haven't lost to them in the league. We haven't lost to them in the league.
We can potentially beat anybody, and we can potentially lose against anybody. We know that. So I think every one of us thinks we've got enough. If we do really turn up to go all the way, it's just that consistently that German that tournament it's changed the psychology of the whole thing. It's not 2 legs, it's not a gap, it's not playing a league game. It's actually not going to a World Cup. Like a mini World Cup, and you're playing in the later stages. And like Kev says, it's a huge thing, not just physically but mentally. And you've got to be in the right frame, and you've got to manage the games, and it's about, and all it's about is not 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 performances and wonder goals. It's about getting through, winning and getting through. And we've seen many sides like France in '98, or other sides in your tournament, even to Portugal when they won it.
What about Denmark?
They weren't fabulous, were they?
Yeah,
Greece. They weren't fabulous, but they just had organisation, discipline, know-how, and won matches. And it's not usually the best side sometimes that goes all the way. So Europe will be looking at the last 16, and Wolves won't be regarded as one of the best sides in the group of 16. So yes, there is a chance for us.
Favourites.
Yeah, we are, but in European history, you've got Inter Milan, Man United. You've got a lot of big sides in European history with the background that we haven't got. So that may be an advantage for us.
Can you imagine the media tears if we beat Manchester United in the semi-final? It won't be about how great Wolves have done.
Can you imagine how it'd be to be in a Europa League final? Can you imagine?
What would happen, man?
And then we won it.
I don't know. Kev, you must have been in your shorts back when. What's the last major? We can't even think. That's how huge it is, and we won't be able to be there. It's like.
Can you imagine everyone wiping it, and then we win the Europa League and we get Champions League next year? That would be amazing. But still, the one question is:
when we lost to Tottenham was
Tottenham. That's what I was going to say. 72. Yeah.
When Martin Shivers scored a goal he'll never score again, and Pat Jennings had the game of his life.
I know.
That. I think, again, because it was two English teams.
Well, there you go then. Kev, you've just worked it out. Because Spurs beat us in our only European final, and also they pipped us to that 6th spot, denying us Europe by goal difference. We're going to have our own back on them now.
Oh, good. I like that.
Question for you. Do you think they're going to play in the new kit? And what do you think of the new kit?
I don't think they can. It's this season, isn't it? I suppose it's different in Europe. I hope they don't, because we all know
most clubs are wearing their new kits now anyway. Chelsea are wearing their new one, Arsenal are wearing the new one, Bournemouth are wearing the new one.
I think they'll wear the new kit.
I think they'll wear it because it's quite good marketing, isn't it, really? Yeah, so because people want to see what it looks like on the players. That's what my dad said. He said, I want to see it in the flesh before I buy it.
I think
what it looks like on the players and what it looks like on fans is two completely different things.
Oh, yeah, no, I think
I like it. I like it. It's not the greatest kit in the world that we've ever had. I do like it, to be fair.
I'm in the better than last year camp. I'm going to get the home kit this year. I think.
I heard seasons.
Yeah.
I didn't like to start with.
I saw your reaction. You did 180 turn, didn't you?
I just didn't like that sleeve.
No, I don't like the sleeves.
It's a bog standard Adidas shirt, isn't it? Yeah.
That's all it is.
But when I saw it on the players, it looked fantastic, especially Raul looked unbelievable in it. So I think they need to put a little bit of extra, material in the middle area for a lot of people.
Fantastic, no, brilliant.
Amy, you weren't the biggest fan of it, were you?
No, I don't like it. I still don't like it. Pardon?
You're sticking with the retro kit, and you're asking Wolves, can we have a white away kit? Aren't you like what you?
She's our fashion expert, as you can tell.
She is.
I don't like the orange socks. Why have they got orange socks with this kit? It's
gold socks.
Gold socks. I'm saying orange because I don't like. I hate it when people say it's orange for Wolves, but I don't like the socks. And honestly,
isn't that traditional for us?
Designing next year's kit.
What's more traditional for us? Gold socks or black?
Socks, gold socks as well. I always thought it was black socks, black shorts, and then gold top.
No, it's always been gold socks, black shorts, and gold top. There was an outcry last year when we went with black socks. People were kicking off about it.
But no,
I think it'll be popular. People will buy it.
But people will buy it. So,
let's be honest. If we put a trophy on the mantelpiece, it'll be the biggest selling kit of history in Wolves history. Because it'll just be something you'll cherish. So that's what the kit is defined by the players and the achievements in that kit. That's what
I did a poll on it and on Twitter and Instagram, and generally Instagram was 80% love, 20% hate, and on Twitter it was something like 39% were going to buy it straight away, something like 30% were going to 30% were going to wait to see it, and then there was about 20%, it's probably not worked out the right as I'm saying, but it was about 20% that didn't like it. But it's a kit. They'll be playing in it, and hopefully
we always have opinions on kits. You look at all the...
You're never going to please everyone. Yeah. I think they should do a Portuguese coloured away or third kit, either second or third kit. You know, that sort of plum,
Burgundy plum.
that plum colour would look.
Yeah, I'd get that. I love that colour.
Yeah.
The transfer rumours are anything to go by. We're going to have 2 more Portuguese, aren't we? So
We definitely, Kev, you're right. We definitely, I think, going to have more points. It's amazing how many we've got. 8, is it? We've got more than Porto and Benfica.
I'd love to see Ruben Diaz come to
they're
Wolves. I'd love to see Ruben Diaz come to Wolves.
Oh,
I think
what a player!
he would be good. I mean, we'll probably do a transfer special in the future, but like we've definitely got to look at strengthening. I think that defensive position, the opposite side.
Goals output for me. Goals output 51.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, for where we want to get top 6, 51 goals is actually not enough. It's good.
We never thrash anyone.
No.
We never thrash anyone.
Yeah, when you're 1-0 up, or you get that second goal and then you manage the game. Trying to manage the game at 1-0, obviously you got the pressure of the team scoring, but you got the pressure, you got the, the guys at the whistle going to deny you. We've seen that time and again. We're always on a knife edge in every one of our games. You can't play 60 games that way.
And there's going to be a lot of speculation. I mean, it's already kicked off speculating about Raul. And it'll
He's been to 8 different clubs this week, hasn't he?
You're going to get that. I can't see Wolves personally selling Raul Jimenez to one of our rivals for 2 reasons. One, it's going to help them. And 2, Wolves have made big inroads in terms of the Premier League and as an English club into the Mexican and American market with a lot of fans coming on to Wolves. If they sell him to another English club, a lot will stick with us, but some will then switch to that club. Where if he does eventually go to sort of like someone in Italy or Spain, they're going to stay with Wolves as their English club. A lot of Mexicans have said to me when I've said that they're going to stick with Wolves regardless whether Raul leaves, but there will be some that will follow him where he goes, and you can expect that. So that's another reason why I don't think they'd sell him to the likes of Man United. And I'm not necessarily sure Raul wants to leave anyway.
I think the thing is with it, I said this to my parents the other day. I said, look, obviously I don't want him to go, but at the end of the day, it's his decision, and agents obviously have a big influence into it as well. But you don't know, like Raul's my age, and being a Mexican, when I was growing up, Man United were, so for instance, Man United were the biggest team in the world. So has it been his lifelong dream to play for United? You don't know. It's his decision. Obviously, none of us want us to go, but I'm just sick of the rumours. I've had mates from who wind me up and say, Raul's going, sending me blooming United gifts all the time. I'm like, please, just back off. Like, just don't do that to me, because it really winds me up, because no one knows. Nuno, it was on Radio 1 before the old Arsenal manager even got sacked, and it was on, I was driving in Radio 1, we're saying, oh, Nuno's off to Arsenal, and you thought the biggest, strongest team would go in.
It's
and
just paper talking. They've got to sell
it's just
paper.
the media, so, but it is what it is, transfers. You don't know what's going to happen, do you?
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's got, everybody has a price. Raul, Adama, everybody does. We're in FFP. It's buying, selling. It's all about improving the side. That's all we want to see is improvement. So,
you've got to trust in the squad, trust in the development. Going to have to end it there, and we'll do a transfer special. I'm going to go around now. How can Amy? How can people find you on socials?
Mainly Instagram, so it's Amy Hads, AMYHADZ.
Manny?
Yeah, Pedalsing, at Pedalsinger on Twitter. If we get through on Thursday, I'm thinking of doing a European special Smoker Saturday, so look out for that.
That would be amazing. And Kev?
On Twitter mainly at Kevin_Paycare.
Thanks for joining us today as well, Kev. And me, Dazzling Dave, on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously YouTube. This will go up onto YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and all of those regular apps for you to listen to. And Always Wolves have got a Facebook page now, so like that. Been another amazing podcast. We will come back again in probably in a couple of weeks, maybe before the final. If we get that far, be amazing. And I just thank you guys for again joining. Leave us a rating on iTunes, and also leave your comments if you're watching on YouTube. From all of us, until the next one, Always Wolves.
Thank you.